Good morning, students. My name is CHSV Prasad Rao, and I am working as senior lecturer in electrical department, Government Polytechnic, Yadgirigutta. Today, we will continue with AC motor. In this, we will handle the third chapter, that is three-phase induction motors. In the last class, we studied starting methods of synchronous motor. As we know, the synchronous motor is not self-starting. Synchronous motor is not self-starting. So to make the motor self-starting or to start the motor, we have different methods. First one is by using a DC motor. Next, by using a pony motor. Next one is by using damper winding. So this is covered in the this class. So I hope you have no doubts on that one. So first one is the motor runs with DC motor. So how? So as we know, the synchronous motor is not self-starting. Therefore, it is necessary to use external means to start the motor. They are by using DC motor. Next one is by using AC motor, and next one is by using damper winding. So by using AC motor, so sorry, DC motor, how it can use the synchronous motor is coupled and started by means of DC motor. The speed of the DC motor is adjusted by the speed regulator to bring the rotor of synchronous motor near the synchronous speed. Then the synchronous motor field is excited to synchronize with the stator pole. So that means as both the stator magnetic poles are rotating at synchronous speed and rotor also bring brought to the near to the synchronous speed. So once the synchronous machine starts as a motor, then the DC motor is either disconnected from the motor or field of the DC machine is strengthened until it begins to function as a generator. So when it will occurs when you both are running at a synchronous speed. So near then at one particular extent the rotor poles are get magnetically locked with the stator magnetic poles and the motor starts rotates at a synchronous speed. So when the motor starts rotating at a synchronous speed, so we can disconnect the field or we can strengthen the field of the DC machine so that it will function as a generator. The synchronous machine is operating as a motor from AC supply and DC machine act as a load and exciter to it. So this is the method of starting of synchronous motor by using DC motor. So next one is by means of AC motor. A small DC coupled induction motor called pony motor is used for starting the synchronous motor. So in this case, what they will do, they will couple the induction motor with the shaft of the shaft of induction motor and shaft of synchronous motor both are coupled, mechanically coupled. Then what happened? The induction motor frequency frequently has two poles less than the synchronous. Suppose the synchronous motor has six poles, then the induction motor is designed for four poles. Suppose the synchronous motor is designed for four poles, then the induction motor is designed for two poles. That means always less than two poles of the synchronous motor. So why? Because then the induction motor runs more speed than the synchronous motor so that it can bring the rotor near to synchronous speed. So then what happens? The induction motor frequently has two poles less than synchronous motor to enable it to rotate near the synchronous speed. Then the motor field is excited to synchronize with the stator poles. So then what happened? At particular instant, both the rotor pole and the stator magnetic pole will get magnetically locked each other at particular instant, and both starts rotating at synchronous speed. After the normal speed is established, the pony motor is uncoupled from the synchronous motor. So this is the second method of starting off synchronous motor by means of AC motor. Next, third one is by using damper winding. The synchronous machine to start independently as a motor, a damper of induction winding or squirrel cage winding is provided on the rotor poles. The damper winding consists of copper or aluminum bars embedded in the slots made on the field poles and short circuited at both ends by using end rings. So we have shown this one also in the last class figure where the damper winding is there on the pole pole face of the rotor and it is copper or aluminum bars and both are short circuited at both ends. So the same damper winding is used for both for reducing the hunting and at the same time to start the motor also. So these short circuited bars forms squirrel cage winding when stator winding is connected to three phase and produces rotating magnetic field cons- rotating magnetic field and causes the motor to start like squirrel cage induction motor. So once the motor started as induction motor and attains the speed near to synchronous speed, the field winding on the rotor is connected to DC supply and excitation is increased. Then what happened? The rotor poles get more. The magnetic field strength on the rotor poles is increased, and as both are rotating at synchronous near to synchronous speed, at one particular instant, the rotor poles and stator magnetic poles will attract each other. That is, they will get magnetically locked each other and pulls into synchronism. That is, the rotor pulls into synchronism by interlocking the stator and rotor poles together. As a result, the rotor starts rotating at synchronous speed. So for this one, we have to follow the some procedure is there. That is, first one is field winding is kept. First point is the field winding is kept unexcited and short circuited through a resistor. Otherwise, the high voltage induces in the field winding during starting. So next, what we have to do after doing the first step is what field winding is kept unexcited and short circuited through a resistor. Otherwise, high voltage induces in the field winding during starting. So what is the next step? The next step is reduced voltage with the help of auto transformer starter should be given to the stator to limit the starting current. So what we are doing here by using star delta or auto transformer starter, we will give reduced voltage to the stator winding so that it limits the high starting current. So next one is the machine starts like third point is the machine starts like a induction motor. So fourth point, when the motor reaches near or above 90% of the synchronous speed, then a weak DC excitation should be applied by removing the short circuit and should be gradually increased until the rotor pulsed into synchronism. Fifth, so that means what happened when the motor, what we have to do fourth step, when the motor reaches 90% of the synchronous speed, then a weak excitation is applied by removing a short circuit and gradually increased until the rotor pulls into synchronism. So when the motor pulls into synchronism, it starts rotating at a synchronous speed. Then what is the fifth point? The fifth point is by removing. Now we have to apply full voltage is applied to the stator winding by removing the starter. So next sixth point is the motor runs at synchronous speed and can be operated any desired frequency by changing the power factor. So these are the methods for starting off induction motor. Next one is applications of synchronous motor. So first application is it can be used as synchronous capacitor or synchronous condenser where it is used in powerhouses and substations is connected in parallel with the bus bar to improve the power factor. So next application is it can be used as a power factor improvement where it is connected in parallel with the bus bar in industry where large number of induction motor are running at a lagging power factor. Next, third one. It is used in rubber mills, textile mills, and small generators for electric clocks. Next, fourth one. Fourth one is it can be used to drive another alternator to generate electricity at a different frequency. That means The synchronous motor is used to change the frequency also. So it is called as frequency changer. So these four are the applications of synchronous motor. Next, merits and demerits of synchronous motor. So what are the merits? First one is it runs at constant speed. Next one is it can be operated under both lagging and leading power factor. And these are the two are the merits. What are the demerits? As we know, first one is it is not self-starting. And next one is it is costly. And third one is it requires both AC and DC supply. And next, fourth one is construction is complicated. And fifth one is skilled persons are required to start and operate the motor. So these are the merits and demerits of synchronous motor. Next one is special features of synchronous motor. It is a constant speed motor. Next one is it can be operated under both leading and lagging power factor. Next one is third one is it can be operated at unity power factor also. Next fourth one is it is used as synchronous condenser. Next point it requires both AC and DC. And next one is construction is complicated. And next one is seventh one is it requires special arrangement for starting. So these are the special features of synchronous motor. So these we covered starting methods of synchronous motor, applications of synchronous motor, merits and demerits of synchronous motor. Next, special features of synchronous motor. Today, we will start this three-phase induction motor. In this case, first we will go through the advantages of three-phase motor over other motors. And next, construction of three-phase induction motor. So, I think you know Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Faraday's laws. By using that Faraday's laws, it working principle depends. So, which type of material can be employed in the construction of electromagnetic machines? So, this is the induction motor. This is the induction motor. What is showing here? This is the shaft. On shaft we have the rotor. There we have the rotor bars. You can see it is not parallel to the axis. They are skewed at some angle. See here, it is like this. Actually, parallel means it must be parallel to the axis. It must be like this. But they are skewed at an angle, and both sides of the bars are short circuited with end-rings. You can see these are the end-rings, these are the end-rings. Here we have the slip rings is there, brushes is there, all other parts is there. So this one is the stator, this is the rotor, and it is rotating on the shaft. On this shaft we have this stator winding, and this one is the stator frame, and these are the terminal box of the induction motor where we can give the supply. So here it is showing the parts. This is the shaft, this is showing keyway, and this is ball bearings to rotate, and this one is internal fan for cooling purpose. This is the shaft. On this shaft we have the rotor. This is the rotor. On this rotor we have the winding, and this outside it is showing the starting capacitance, and this one is centrifugal switch to automatically disconnect when the motor reaches 90% of the speed. This is exhaust fan for cooling purpose, and this one is ventilation slot as shown in figure. Next, advantages of three-phase induction motor. It is very simple and extremely rugged and almost unbreakable construction, especially squirrel cage type, and it has the low cost, high reliable, has sufficiently high efficiency. It has high efficiency. So these are the this shows three advantages. What is the first one? It is very simple and rugged and unbreakable construction, low cost, high reliable, high efficiency. Next, fourth one is no brushes required in normal running condition, so friction losses are reduced. Next one is it has reasonably good power factor. Next one is it requires minimum maintenance. And next one is it starts from rest and needs no extra starting motor. That means it is a self-starting motor. It is a self-starting motor. So these are fourth one is no brushes are required in normal condition. The brushes are short circuited and lifted in normal condition to reduce friction losses. Next one is good power factor. Next one is minimum maintenance, and next it starts from rest and no extra starting motor. Next one is based on construction. Three-phase induction motor are classified. So there are the advantages, and these are classified into three-phase induction motors are classified into two types. That is squirrel cage induction motor, and next one is slip ring or phase wound type rotor. So these three-phase induction motor are widely used in industrial applications. So construction. An induction motor consists of two parts. First one is stator and next one is rotor. The stationary part is called stator and the rotating part is called a rotor. So construction. So has two main parts. A stationary rotor consists of steel frame that supports a hollow and cylindrical. See here, this is the frame. It contains slots on the inner periphery like this. It has the slots inner side. Core constructed from stacked laminations having number of slots and providing the space for stator winding. Here, this is the stator. It contains these are the slots for providing the stator winding, and this supports the whole cylinder. This is the whole cylinder. Next, rotor and revolving rotor composed of punching lamination stacked to create a series of rotor slots provides space for the rotor winding. One or two types of the rotor winding are conventional three-phase winding made of insulation wire that is used for compound rotor similar to the winding on the stator. Next, aluminum bars short circuited at both ends with aluminum rings and forms a squirrel cage shaped that is called squirrel cage rotor. The two basic design types depends on the rotor type. That means for which application we will use the motor. Depending on that one, we can use either squirrel cage rotor or phase wound rotor. In case of a squirrel cage rotor, conducting bars are placed into slots and short circuited at both ends by end rings. Whereas in phase wound rotor, complete set of three-phase winding exactly as stator, usually star connected. The ends of the three stator winding are connected to three slip rings on the rotor shaft. In this way, the rotor circuit is accessible to connect some external resistance. So here it shows the rotor parts. This one you can see this is for squirrel cage rotor. Rotor bars are there. On that bars on the two ends and aluminum rings are connected so that all the bars are short circuited. So this is the shaft, this is the rotor. It contains slots on the outer periphery. These are the bars, and these two are see here. This is the auxiliary view. In both side we can see. This is the front view. This is the bars, and these are the end rings. And this one is the side view. And these are the laminations shaft of the rotor. This shows squirrel cage rotor, where on the both sides it is the rings are short circuited. In wound rotor is like this. It contains these three are the slip rings. The slip rings are on the same shaft, and it contains three slip rings. On slip rings, one side the rotor winding is connected. On the other hand, brushes are kept through three brushes. External distance is connected to the rotor winding. So this is the view like this. This is the cover. This is the stator frame, stator winding. In this is the shaft. On this shaft we have the rotor slots. It is not rotor winding slots and rotor winding. It is not parallel to the axis. It is skewed at some angle. This is end cover. So if you assemble this all this one, you can get a motor. So this is the cross sectional view. So it is here showing what is the balance disk, load, air outlet, terminal box, okay, and everything he is showing is a cross sectional view. This is the shaft. On this shaft, it has the armature winding, and it is short circuited on both ends. You can see this is a cross sectional view. This is another diagram where it shows the shaft. This here, the rotor slots are not parallel with the shaft. They are skewed at an angle. That means they're twisted at an angle. So why? Because If they are parallel, both runs at synchronous speed. Then slip is 0. As we know, the induction motor are the machines which never run at synchronous speed. They always rotate a speed less than synchronous speed. So here you can see these are the wires. These are the stator winding. This is the stator frame, outer frame. This one is for that one. On the stator slots, it has the stator winding. These are the stator winding on the top. What is stator? The stator of an induction motor is in principle, so it is made of number of stampings which are slotted to receive the stator winding. So stator winding, it carries a three-phase winding and it is connected for three-phase supply. Three-phase winding is connected to three-phase supply. Stator is wound for definite number of poles or the exact number of poles in the according to the demand. So according to that one, the speed changes. So it generates the number of poles less than the speed and vice versa. So the stator winding, when connected with three-phase supply, it produces the current and rotating the magnetic field, which rotates at synchronous speed, that is 120 F by P. That is, when stator winding is connected to a three-phase supply, it produces a current which rotating a magnetic field which revolves at synchronous speed, that is 120 F by P. So this revolving magnetic flux induces an EMF in the rotor by mutual induction principle. So this is the stator squirrel cage rotor. See here, this is the copper or aluminum bars. They are short circuited at both rings by end rings. This is the end ring, this is the end rings. And they are not parallel, they are skewed at an angle. These are the copper slip rings, end rings, how they are connected. This is squirrel cage induction motor. So this is the rotor winding, squirrel cage rotor winding. Bars are there, and the bars are, we have the end rings. It is connected to the shaft. Bars, copper rotor copper bars on the both side. It has the end rings to short circuit. It is there on the shaft. So this is the winding on shaft. It has, these are the siblings. Siblings are there. This is the rotor winding. It is skewed. So the rotor construction, there are two types of rotor employed. One is squirrel cage construction, also called squirrel cage rotor. For this three-phase induction motor, squirrel cage rotor is called. If you kept for a three-phase motor, we used a squirrel cage rotor, then it is called three-phase squirrel cage induction motor. The other type is phase wound rotor. So if the induction motor contains this phase wound rotor, then it is called slip ring induction motor. Next one is squirrel cage motor. Almost 90% of the induction motors are squirrel cage type because this type of rotor has simplest and most rugged construction, and it is and the rotor consists of cylindrical laminated core with parallel slots for carrying the rotor conductors, and the rotor conductors are not wires, but it consists of heavy bars of copper or aluminum. Just now we saw that it is not a wire, it is a copper or aluminum bars. One bar is placed in each slot. Rather, the bars are inserted from the end. Semi-closed slots are used. So, the rotor bars are electrically welded and short-circuited by using end rings, thus giving a squirrel cage appearance. It should be noted that rotor bars are permanently short-circuited on themselves. Hence, it is not possible to add as it is short-circuited on both ends. It is not possible to add external resistance in series with the rotor for starting purpose. So whereas phase wound rotor we can add, but in squirrel cage rotor, as the rotor bars are permanently short circuited, it's not possible to add any external resistance at the time of starting to increase the starting current. Next, the rotor slots are usually not parallel, as I told just now when I am showing the figure. The rotor slots are usually not parallel to the shaft, but they are slightly skewed. So it is useful for two purposes. What is that one? It helps in reducing the locking tendency of the rotor, that is, the tendency of rotor teeth to remain under the stator teeth due to direct magnetic attraction between the two poles. And next one is it helps to make the motor run quickly by reducing the magnetic humming. So these two are the advantages. If you keep the rotor slots not parallel, they are skewed, at a slightly skewed. So these two are the advantages. First one is it reducing the locking tendency. Next one is reducing the magnetic humming. So next one is phase wound rotor. This is the rotor winding. On the rotor winding, it has the shaft. On this shaft, it has a slip rings. On one side, it is connected the rotor winding. On the other side, it has the brushes. To these brushes, we have connected external resistance in star, where S1, S2, S3 are slip rings, B1, B2, B3 are brushes. This is the rotor. So, this type of rotor is wound with three-phase double layer distributor winding, consists of coils as used in alternator. Next one is the rotor is wound for as many poles as the number of state. That means the stator number of poles and rotor number of poles must be equal in phase bound rotor. Whereas in squirrel case, it can be different. So the rotor is wound for three phase, even the stator is two phase. That means the rotor winding is for three phase. The three phases are started internally. The other three winding terminals are brought out and connect to the three insulated slip rings mounted on the shaft with brushes resting on them. Just now I shown that one on shaft. It has the shaft is there. On shaft it has the three slip rings. On slip rings, one side rotor winding is connected. On the other side, brushes are placed. So these three brushes are externally used to connect externally three phase stator star connected rheostat. By using these brushes, we can connect external resistance. So this makes the possible to add some external resistance in series with the rotor winding, so that then what happened, automatically its speed increases. Torque increase. To increase the torque, we can add some external resistance in series with the rotor. When running under normal condition, the slip rings are automatically short circuited by means of metal collar, which is pushed along the shaft and connects all the slip rings together. So it is short circuited so that the external resistance is removed when the motor reaches at particular speed. The brushes are automatically lifted from the slip rings to reduce friction losses. Hence, it is seen that under normal running condition, the wound rotor is short circuited on itself and works like squirrel cage rotor. So this shows the balanced three-phase winding mechanically placed 120 degrees from each other, fed from a three-phase supply. So three windings is there connected to three-phase supply. Then what happened? A rotating magnetic field with constant magnitude is produced and rotating with synchronous speed. That is Ns is equal to 120 F by P, where Ns is equal to synchronous speed, F is equal to supply frequency, and P is equal to number of poles. So if this shows if you have the 50 heads, 60 head and number of poles, you have to use the same formula 120 F by P. So this is shows how the rotor is rotating, and this is the stator and the stator winding, and the current is flowing and the stator current is produced. See here how the rotor is rotating, but the stator poles are stationary. You can note here stator poles are rotating. Only the rotor is rotating and the poles also rotates. See this picture how the rotor is rotating. This is the stator and the stator winding. It is constant. Only the rotor is rotating. So this is the magnetic field of rotating magnetic field. So how it is rotating at 30 degrees, 40 degrees. You can see how it is rotating. When it is rotating, the poles here, that also changes the current direction. That one also is a cross. Now it is a dot. Is it cross? Now it becomes dot. See here, it is cross. It will change to dot when it crosses the magnet neutral axis. So here it is cross now. When it crosses this magnet neutral axis, it will become dot. See how practically it is rotating. So here we covered advantages of three-phase induction motor over other motors and construction, classification and construction of three-phase motor. So what are the questions we can get? Explain where squirrel cage induction motors are employed and what are the advantages of slip ring motor over squirrel cage. So what they are frequently asked, classification of three-phase induction motor on construction, why rotor construction are slightly conduct slightly squeezed, what are the advantages of slip ring induction motor over squirrel cage induction motor. So read these three questions we can expect from this chapter. From this chapter, we can expect these questions. Read this one. If you have any doubt, ask me in the next class. Thank you.